guys, and thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you being here. So this is part 2 of the Spatial challenge. Now if you haven't seen part 1, I'll put a link down below and you'll be able to click on that, and if you want to go and check out number 1 now, you can go and do it. If not, sit tight, we're now going to talk about what's in Spatial challenge number 2. So briefly, in the first one, it was all about what Rik Simpson and Stuart Bruce said to me about drummers sometimes not being able to just play one groove through and through without any extra inflections on the bass, snare or hat. And it's good that we can do that. But it's also good when we can have the discipline to buckle down and work on just loving that groove, keeping it consistent and making sure it's in time and everything feels good. And I asked you to play for 5 minutes, playing a groove, mid-tempo to slow tempo, and really think about the consistency, the timing, owning the space between the notes, all those kind of things. And in this episode, I want to talk about fills. Now the term fills, a lot of my students know I prefer the term phrases, but I will keep using fills because it's just universal and everyone knows what a drum fill is. So this is all about when you play your drum fills, so you could play like 4 bars of your rhythm, this kind of tempo, boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, or it could be more complex, boom, boom, ga, boom, ga, boom, boom, or there could be extra strokes on the snare. But the idea is that you just play that rhythm all of the time. No extra bits, no cymbal crashes, no nothing, no tss, no hum, no booms, no nothing else. So whatever you start with, you keep it the same. So we're going to do 3 bars of a groove, and in the 4th bar is going to be your drum fill using just these crotchets and quavers. Now I'd also like you to put in some quaver rests, because then the fills can get a little bit more interesting. So something like this for the fill. You could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba, 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 boom, ka, dum, ka, and so on. Or you could put a rest actually on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ga, 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 boom, ga. So you start using some of the spaces. Of course, if you want to use a crotchet and a quaver, you could do something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 boom. Now I know they seem really, really basic, and some of you are probably way over that, but this is about playing for the song. We're thinking that we've been asked to play a very basic rhythm and be consistent, and we need fills to match that, because playing something nice and straightforward, boom, gat, boom, boom, gat, doesn't necessarily need boom, gat. It's not about that. It's about thinking of the space and making sure our phrase or drum fill, kind of suits the groove that came before it. Then we can also start using 16th notes or semi-quavers. We know they sound like 1E and a 2E and a da 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 da. Again, thinking of using some rests. So if you know about your rests, or you're a drummer that you don't really know about rests and a crotchet from a hatchet, then this is why I'm sort of singing the parts to you. You could come up with your own little rhythmic patterns, but they need to have plenty of space. Remember the Spatial challenge. So we could do something that combines the crotchet, the quaver, and the 16th note. But we need to start putting those rests in. Now again, for us learned players, we can think, oh, I know what that's going to be. We can put one on there and one on here. If you're not really up to scratch with all of that, then I'll sing a few sort of ideas we could do. So fill number 1 could be 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba, da da, da da da, boom, ga, dum. Or we could go da da da, da 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 da, boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, 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 boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, da 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 da, boom, and so on. So instead of filling all the spaces with a flow of notes, which is a brilliant thing, as I say, I'm not trying to replumb how you think about those things. I'm just giving you some other options. Because sometimes when you're in the studio, I can honestly tell you that a lot of the times when you're playing singer-songwriter stuff, which I'm on, though I do jazz stuff and I do fusion stuff, I do all sorts of stuff. But this stuff is sort of, I'm aiming it from that point of view, because that's the kind of thing I was doing with Rik Simpson and with Stuart Bruce. It was with singers, and they wanted something that was musical and that really worked in those spaces. And every now and again they'll ask for you to play something a bit more complex and full on, and that's great. But a lot of the times they'll say, can you give me something with a bit of space? Could you give me something that just falls down into that next section that isn't a continuous flow of notes? Can you think of something broken? So, you know, thinking of these sort of, you could say, broken phrases is a really good option. And then you could think tonally. And I know Roger Taylor is good at these kind of open fills. Phil Collins is good at these open fills. Ringo Starr is good at these fills. Levon Helm, Jim Keltner, Steve Gadd. You know, the list could go on of those drummers who are band drummers. Levon Helm is definitely the band drummer, but you know what I mean. And it's good to have those in your sort of armoury, so you can pull them out and use them when you need them. So the Spatial Challenge, drum fills. Let's say if we're going to use the metronome, which we should, let's say we're sort of aiming for starting them at maybe 60 BPM and maybe going up to something like 100 BPM. And then think about those, record them, and listen back or film them and watch yourself and think, is it flowing? Is it tight? How does it feel? Could I be braver? Could I add more space into the gaps? How about this? 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. Da da boom. A whole gap in there, you know, which musically could be really cool. Even though you're not doing something, it gives the music a chance to breathe and adds suspense. And what's he playing next? As well as, you know, something being has its place too, that adds excitement. So that's our Spatial Challenge number 2, is to work on drum fills using plenty of spaces. Good, so that's our 2 challenges set. And if you want to write to me and show me some of these things or chat about them, you can always put some comments below. If you do something similar or have something else you'd like to share, then please let me know, because it's always good to get the drumming community sharing and talking about drums. Hey, it's the best instrument. You've got to share it, right? So good luck. I hope it works out for you. Honestly, it'll do wonders for your playing and your imagination and your groove and fill building or chop building. Okay, thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care. Keep drumming, keep enjoying your music, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.